No! Ah! Not again! Hey everyone, Producer Son here, and thanks for tuning in to my very first game showcase. Today we're going to tackle a game called LandTraveller, something that's still in early development but already has a free demo available for everyone to download. So before we get right into the game, I have to mention that most of the content here is running on version 1.5. The newest build 1.6 has been released after most of the stuff already has been recorded. Changes are minor enough for me not having to re-record the whole thing, but will be showcased at the end of the main segment. To get down to business, what are we exactly looking at here? Well, the developer known as Wolfcoder is aiming to create a constructive action RPG, laying the focus on it having a kemono mimi theme, which is usually commonly known as characters having animal ears and tails. It runs on an engine that goes by the name RPG20XX, which also is written by the mind that works on the game. It is intended to be an upgrade from RPG Maker 2003, but it is actually something that's written completely by scratch, meaning that the software and the game to make the software is both written by the same developer. With that out of the way, it's time to take a look what the demo actually has in store for us. You start out by making a new character, creating it by deciding gender, skin tone, hairstyle, the animal type, and then the coloring. Noteworthy here is not only the variety for a demo, but also the fact that the different animal types have varying attributes, resulting in it being more than just a cosmetical choice. I actually like that, because it reinforces the theme Wolfcoder is following here. After you are done creating your character, you then can give him a name and you're set. Because I took too much time with mine, I will jump directly to the action from here. You then transition into your home area. Usually it's riddled with a fair amount of trees, rocks and branches to get you started. In this case it's not, because I've played a bit before I started to record with my different character. You're free from danger here, you can take your time to get familiar with how everything works, but should you need advice at any time, there of course is the option to hit F1 and all the basics will be displayed to you. No rush either, because you're in the safe zone, so you can just take a look and read everything as you like. From here you then get all your survival game instincts going. Equipped with only an axe to start cutting down trees, hunt down some mobs, forage, and just basically do whatever you must to get your first crafting resources in. Because you gotta consider that house is not going to build itself. Neither do all the tools and the equipment you need to actually get to work in this game. So yeah, there you go. Better start working, because you know what they say,
all toasters toast toast.
I'm not sure why I brought in the Mario reference, and I don't even know what came to me by just saying that, but let's just move on. After some hard work, your resources will land, just like in any other RPG, in your inventory, which allows you to organize and move things off or onto your hotbar for quick access. Right below you'll find the buttons to access stuff like crafting menus, proficiencies, special attributes and so on. The second button from the left is the one we desire for now. It's the crafting menu, because who doesn't love to get their hands dirty with some handiwork, creating whatever the heck they want? You gotta consider though, this is not like Minecraft or Terraria. Crafting in this takes time, it's not immediate, so it actually gives you a bit of a feeling like playing Rust or something like that. You gotta consider where you're at, so you can't just go out and start randomly popping out arrows from wherever you pulled them from in Minecraft or the likes. But instead you go home, you go to your home zone, you craft there because you know you're safe. For now it's not really a problem, given that I only cited one type of mob so far. But I can see it become a thing as the game progresses and more mob types are being added, and that's another exciting factor about games like these. They're in constant development and there's always movement behind those, so you never know what's going to happen in the future. Let's just put the crafting aside though for a second and get to something that bothers me even more. In a good way, because it's about shelters, and I love building shelters, so this game is really catering to exactly that. You have wood, you have stone, or whatever you gathered by now, which is great, so we're gonna have this grid indicate where we're actually gonna put that, and if we hit left shift or left control, you can actually move that grid up or down by one, making it possible to like build walls or build stairs, whatever your heart desires, without having to build awkward constructions or whatever you ended up building to just bypass that. Now we're going to cover the final bit of the main segment, which is mining. When you have a wooden shovel, you can start digging down and build your little basement, mine, or whatever you plan to build. You're gonna hit a stone layer, which requires a hammer, and then you're gonna hit a basalt layer, which requires a pickaxe to actually destroy. This is no problem, because as you progress you find ores and the likes to actually build those tools, so you have that typical the deeper you go, the more you need and the more you find kind of principle. Very rewarding. I had my biggest fun going down there, and I'm pretty sure I spent 90% of the time of which I had this game running just mining and expanding. With only 2 ore types and a handful of gems, you won't be seeing too much of a variety down there, but because of the pace, you're still gonna end up mining a fair bit to get that one big room you want down there. As for gems, I really don't know what to do with them yet, but I leave that up to you guys to find that out, because that gives you even more a reason to download and check out all the stuff you can do in the game. And with that, we actually hit the last bit of the LandTraveller showcase. All the main things are covered. I mean, I could talk about skills and I could talk about proficiencies, but I'm gonna keep that for a video when the game actually hit a bigger scale, because they're pretty minor right now. They're explained in a few seconds, and I mean, if you boot the game and you take a look, you'll easily understand what it's all about. But for now, I would like to talk about a few things like the flaws and the multiplayer there is, and the few little changes I said at the beginning are added from one build to another. So let's start by actually talking about the flaws here. One big flaw, and I would say this is the biggest problem I have with the game right now, is whenever I build something or there's like stairs or whatever and I'm behind that, there is transparency, so I know I'm behind the object, but as soon as I start jumping up, I can only guess that I'm going up in elevation because there's no way to actually see that. There's no number, there's no indicator, so yeah, you guess, and at one point you reach the top, and then you actually realize it did something. But before, when I just started out, I felt like I'm in front of a huge wall. I can't climb that, and I mean, once I knew about it, it was no problem, but it was just very confusing at the start. And I mean, I don't know if Wolf Coder actually took his time to already think about that or not, but if not, this is the perfect time to just think of a counter or like a display that shows what level you're on, and then that problem should be solved immediately. The second flaw is, well, it's not really a flaw, it's just the lack of background music. That's already being worked on. I already heard about that being in the next build, or in the next few builds, so that's pretty cool. And then there's like this flaw, or well, it's a flaw to me, that the enemies actually enter the home zone and they start running around a bit disoriented. And I mean, it's free kills for the player, and it gives them resources and stuff, and I like that. But on the other hand, I feel like the player should go out and start venturing for enemies to slay them and get their loot, to get a feel for actually facing hostile mobs. Just something that was on my mind. Other than that, I have no big things to point out or like to complain about yet. The game didn't crash. I didn't end up in a spot where I couldn't get out of or anything. I didn't clip through walls, nothing like that, so that's really good. And that pretty much covers all the flaws I've been noticing that have been on a scale worth mentioning. With that, I'm just gonna quickly drift over into the multiplayer segment, because there is a multiplayer already, and that was pretty astounding when I first started the game. And I see that little tab saying multiplayer. The server's also up and running, and what I really liked, like that was the best part about it, is when I tried to log in with my 1.5 game, it actually told me that I can't do that. I have to get the newest version, so there's no issues with that either. And well, once you get the newest version, you just log in, and it gives you the little captcha code. You have to type in a captcha to join the server after you made your character and stuff. Just as a security measure, I get that, because everybody shares one server, so it's pretty much an anti-griefing method and stuff. Though I had a really hard time to get that captcha right. I don't know why, but it was so hard. It's as if my eyes were deceiving me to actually get that captcha right. But other than that, also no problems there. Was pretty interesting to see what people built. And I'm gonna say this right now, I'm super sorry for the person that I broke the door of, because I went into your house to take a look, and I opened up a door and there was an enemy coming at me. I started swinging my axe like a maniac, and then the door was in my inventory. In my haste of actually recording everything, I pretty much forgot to put it back, so I'm sorry about that. I guess that pretty much covers everything you gotta know about the game. 1.6 has obsidian arrows and a new skill that I wasn't able to show here, but just check it out, go take a look, go join a server, do whatever you want, and get a feel for the game, because this game actually, like, really deserves the attention. It's pretty low profile, yeah, but it's really well done, like, given that it's a demo, and I find that pretty humble to say that this is just a pre-alpha demo. It runs super well. Like, you can do enough stuff to keep yourself occupied for an hour or two. You can craft, like, it has every core feature the game should have already, and yeah, I can only say, Wolfcoder, you did a really good job on that, kudos to you, and yeah, that pretty much sums up the whole showcase. I thank everybody for watching. If you have any ideas, suggestions, anything, just let me know, shoot it to me, I will try to make it better next time. This is my very first video after all with this format, and everybody's got to start somewhere, and that pretty much covers it. Thank you everyone, have a good day, tune in next time, bye.